What's going on, guys? It's Jaron and JD here at Apex Performance Wellness and Rehab, and we wanted to come here today to talk to you about ACL tears. I know most of us saw Klay Thompson go down with the ACL injury in the NBA Finals in Game 6. Critical moment, having a great game, leading his team back, looking to come back from a 3-1 series deficit, and something detrimental happens. It happens all the time in sports, and as we can see, star players are not immune. We've seen KD go down with an Achilles, Klay go down with the ACL. ACL tears have always been a prevalent thing in sports and all of athletics. So today, we're here to talk about a few things: what an ACL tear is, how you can prevent that, steps along the rehab process, what actually controls the ACL, as well as what is deconditioning and sitting out do to the body, and how does it prevent you and impact you when you try to step back into competition. Lastly, what we have here at Apex to help you out with this. So first off, JD, tell us what the ACL is and what an ACL tear is for everyone else.
Yeah, so the ACL, it stands for anterior cruciate ligament. It's a ligament in the knee that prevents movement in the knee in directions that you don't want the knee to move. So within the knee, you have 4 ligaments that prevent movement all directions so that the knee stays stable. So when an ACL tear happens, that ligament is completely obliterated, it tears in half, and so you lose a little bit of stability inside your injury.
Doesn't sound good. What we all saw though with Klay, we saw the knee injury happen, but what a lot of people may not remember is recently in this playoff period, he had sat out for a hamstring injury. JD, talk about what one little hamstring injury or hamstring tightness, what that may indicate or lead to. As we saw with an ACL, we don't know, but what does hamstring tightness and a hamstring injury sitting out do to someone like Klay Thompson or athletes in general?
Sometimes when you sit out for an extended period of time, or maybe you don't train properly and you are starting to feel some type of nagging injury, sometimes you can develop a compensatory pattern, which means you just move differently to take weight off of or avoid stressing an area that already hurts. In his case, it could have been that he took some time off and wasn't quite ready and wasn't quite trained and conditioned to come back in and play to his fullest. That's a high level of play. So whether or not the hamstring injury was the culprit for his re-injury, he probably should have gotten checked out at least, or made sure that he could come back at that level of play under the stress that he was put under.
And it sounds like, is it fair to say that maybe the more advanced the athlete, the more advanced their body is, or the better their body is at creating a compensatory pattern to avoid injury in the hamstring and maybe placing additional pressure on the ACL unknowingly?
Sure, it could be. I mean, and it's hard to place blame on one body part or one thing for causing the injury. But when you are playing at that high of a level, it's even more important to get everything checked out and make sure that you have your form, you have your proper motion when you're going into variability. So you have people coming at you, you have movements that you have to do yourself, and there's so much that comes at you at that high level. You really can't risk if that's the culprit. Like, you have to really check all the reasons for potential for injury.
Totally. And you mentioned this a moment ago, but also being a former athlete yourself, myself included, we've sat out from injuries, and nobody wants to sit out during the championship, especially when you're having a great game. You want to play, you want to be available for your team, you want to help your teammates, you want to see your team win, you want to do everything you can. Talk about what the deconditioning that happens when you sit out for an injury. So for Klay, he sat out with the hamstring, wasn't playing his same length of time in games, probably not practicing as much. We obviously don't know because we don't work for the Warriors, but talk about what that is and what that's typically like for athletes, pro or not pro, and then trying to step right back in.
Sure, yeah. There's definitely a correlation to time off and deconditioning and jumping right back into sport, especially at that high level of play. There have been some studies done that correlate risk of injury with being sedentary or taking time off in the off season. So we see a lot of athletes that play multiple sports or continue to train in their off season that reduce their risk of injury, especially doing strength training. Which is actually one reason we came up with our Apex Ascent program here at Apex, to take that athlete from injury state to back to return to play, because that interim time, you don't really develop that same explosiveness, that same level that you need to be the best.
To perform, win a championship,
exactly.
And be dominating late in the game, not just
Exactly.
early in the game.
Exactly.
It also sounds like a good opportunity for people to stay on top of these weaknesses during their season, not just off season when they're training.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't checked out the Apex Ascent program, you guys can check that out on our website, apexpwr.com. But the last point I want to get to is a lot of people, when they have a knee injury, they really focus on the knee ligament, scar tissue buildup, a lot of things in the knee. Talk about what the rehab process looks like for ACL tears and what the most important things are.
Right. So before an ACL tear, I actually know this one from experience, you really want to work on strengthening the knee. So the common misconception is that the ligaments keep the knee stable, when in actuality the muscles, your quadricep muscles, your hamstrings, they are the biggest stabilizer of your knee. So ligaments, you can't really get them stronger, you can't really get them more stable, but what you can do is strengthen the heck out of your knee. So when Klay goes to rehab or prehab before surgery, he's gonna be working a lot on strength, a lot on stability, and then post-surgery, strength is a big focus. Getting control back, but then also developing a lot of lean muscle on there to strengthen it up.
Totally. So along with the strength, conditioning, is that an important factor?
Oh, 100%. Conditioning. If you play a sport like basketball, soccer, somewhere where you're going to get a lot of contact, practicing that variability in your play. So maybe getting hit by an exercise ball or a medicine ball while you're in the middle of a drill, or bumping up with somebody when you're training can really increase the amount of awareness your nervous system has to your surroundings. So you're not just training muscles, you have to functionally train too.
Totally. And there's a lot available to help you out, help get you better, and help, decrease this big risk that's out there for these catastrophic injuries. We don't want to see people have these happen to them, especially when there are things that could have been put in place earlier on to prevent this. So what we have here available for athletes is the Apex Athlete Assessment. 45 minutes, we go over your body from head to toe, check anything out that has any imbalances, weaknesses, as well as see what your strengths are, how to continue to keep those strong, and how to catch those weaknesses or deficiencies, how to catch them up so they're no longer weak, they're strong as well. We have that available. You can get that online at our website, apexpwr.com, or you can just give us a call, talk to us about what's going on, what your needs are, and we can set up something custom for you. And as JD mentioned, we do have the Apex Ascent program for any of you athletes out there that want to hop in and really work on a lot of other elements that go into being a total athlete: strength, endurance, both muscular and cardio, mobility as well as stability, and neuromuscular reeducation, which includes proprioception, balance, and agility. So whether you want to get in class and continue to develop things on in here with us, or you just want to get an assessment and take it on your own and work on that elsewhere, we can help you out. Give us a call, get in touch. JD's gone through an ACL tear of her own. She knows what it feels like and knows the not just physical pain, but the emotional pain of watching your teammates enjoy their sport while you're watching on the sideline. I've had 2 knee injuries, knee surgeries myself, as well as a stress fracture, so I've had my fair share of sitting out, and I wish I would have done something about it beforehand rather than just push through and play through the pain. So we're here to help you out. We're here to help you champion your body. And we're here to help you become a champion in your sport. Give us a call, reach out to us online, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.